Good morning, everyone. Well, when I went to bed last night, I saw this Twitter thread, and I thought it was hilarious. And I got up this morning, and I had trouble finding it, but then I found it, so that's not a big deal. But here it is in its entirety. This is talking about immigration, Michelle Rempel, and our conservative Liberal Party, led by Andrew Scheer. So Frank Vaughan, and I follow Frank Vaughan on Twitter. I don't know much about Frank, but he runs a website, and I think it's probably worthwhile to have a little visit. He aggregates the news, so there's all sorts of news headlines and stuff on there. I don't want to get into Frank too much, but he fights the good fight in this little Twitter war that we're about to go through. So here's Frank's tweet, and we'll go through it, and we'll see how true it is as well. So Frank Vaughan supports Paris Climate Treaty. CTV News, Scheer says his climate plan will meet Paris targets without a carbon tax. Supports equalization. This is from the Saskatchewan Herald. I don't know how, I don't know if this is, quote, fake news or if this is somebody's blog or anything like that, but the Google machine didn't have much. I was on page 3, and it's like weasel words stuff. Positions from 2016, positions from before he became leader, but there wasn't a whole lot on Mr. Scheer's position on equalization, except for the Saskatchewan Herald, and that makes a lot of sense. So Scheer's Tories stand with Quebec, not Saskatchewan, on equalization, and then another Saskatchewan Herald article talking about the new Premier of Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan is a have-not province again, and it talks about equalization payments and the federal party as well. So I'm including these. I don't know. I don't pay close enough attention, but I think that supporting equalization for a federal party leader is kind of standard. There are a lot more seats in Quebec than there are in Saskatchewan, and I mean 171 or something like that, more than 150, and there's 14 in Saskatchewan. So it's kind of like, well, yeah, we need to deal with the Quebec in the room. So a federal party leader supporting equalization payments to Quebec is not hard to find. Everyone does, because there's a lot of seats there. Supports SM, supply management, even if it means destroying the Canadian economy as a whole. I've done a couple of videos on that. That is one of my biggest sticking points with Mr. Scheer. With Trudeau, we get a trade war. With Scheer, we get a trade war. Supports giving illegals a pathway to citizenship. Yes, he sure does. He sure does. And we're going to watch that and kind of underline it, because Michelle Rempel loses her mind here but refuses to answer a question. Supports tariffs and trade wars. He does, and he lies about the President of the United States. He says Donald Trump is anti-free trade. Donald Trump is not anti-free trade. I'm sorry, sir. And there's proof. And proof on a video of mine, link will be in the description, as with everything I talk about. And so claims to be free speech, yet actively stifles the grassroots. I wanted to show you guys this. This is Michelle Rempel voting on the no side. Hi, Michelle. Here you are. For the free speech motion. Now, I'll include the Reddit link as well. So this is a link from MetaCanada, but I mean, this is stuff that people are trying to hide, right? Trying to stifle the talk about, trying to just gloss over, and let's get Liberal 2.0 in, and then we'll deal with the then we'll tell you how we're going to govern. But they're being pretty clear at the convention, because they have to be. Michelle is anti-free speech motion. And what is the free speech motion? Okay, quote, the Conservative Party believes free speech is necessary for democracies to remain free. Therefore, we support 1, withholding federal grants to universities that do not defend free speech, and 2, repealing, quote, gender identity legislation, which compels Canadians to utter made-up pronouns like Z and Zer. Why the no vote, Michelle? That's not what this video is about. Okay, what is this video about? So, Albert A says, you are just plain wrong on all those points. Albert, go have a watch of some of my videos, man. You're probably going to learn something. Frank says, he whipped the vote for Paris, Albert. He supports equalization as it is for the next 5 years. Rempel's presser 2 weeks ago made it clear illegals would be given a pathway to citizenship. You may own a jet, but you clearly don't know much about the CPC's stated positions. Albert replies, including Michelle Rempel, at Michelle, wants to allow, quote, or hashtag legitimate refugees. So what is wrong with that? Not the wave Trudeau has brought on Canada. Frank says, start watching the Rempel press conference at roughly the 9-minute mark and really think about what she says. I know you're a big shot, mate. You made it clear. I need to know that out of the gate. But the CPC is playing their base. The solution is a new party. Okay, Michelle, we're going to get to you in just a minute, but let's go watch that presser. Just going to make sure it's on the right. Okay, this is 9 minutes of the Conservative Party's presser about immigration. I did a video on breaking this down, and in it I said they don't talk about reduction. They talk about giving an illegal border crossers a pathway to citizenship. And this is where she says it. And they use a lot of different words to refer to the illegal border crossers: economic migrants, refugees, asylum seekers, irregular crossers. It's meant to confuse you. It's meant specifically to confuse you. So when they say statements like this, they can say, no, 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 you misunderstood, and not correct you to what they mean. They just say, no, you misunderstood. And they don't tell you what they mean. So Michelle, you've used economic migrants to refer to the border crossers, the illegal border crossers. And what do you say about them?
Conservative government led by Andrew Scheer will directly link the number and skills of people seeking to enter Canada for economic reasons to the needs of Canada's economy. And now to our policies.
That is 10 seconds right there where she underlines the fact that she will give a path to citizenship to the people we're putting up in hotels right now. The people crossing the border with their Beats headphones and their pets and their rolly suitcases because they're flying into New York. That's who she's talking about right now. Michelle, am I wrong? Can you please clarify your position? Okay, let's have a look. Michelle Rempel, verified blue check mark on Twitter. Quote, "You're no better than Trudeau, spinning lies about our immigration system and what I say about it. I want to stop the illegal border crisis." She doesn't say I want to stop illegal border crossers. I want to stop the illegal border crisis. Okay. I've offered mechanisms as to how to close the loophole and reduce our dependency on the temporary foreign workers program. Bye-bye, Trudeau acolyte. She responds to herself a bunch. So at Michelle Rempel, again, quote, "Do you even know what that is, or do you need to Google it, immigration system expert?" Michelle Rempel again, quote, "Didn't think so. Easier to spin to get votes instead of doing the hard work to fight Trudeau." Michelle Rempel again, quote, "I've fought Trudeau, Hussein, Goodall, and the entire bureaucracy of CIC on this issue. Bring it." Michelle again, "Let's start by you telling me what you do with the SAWP." Michelle Rempel again, "I'll wait for you to Google it." Oh, thanks, Michelle. Thank you. What is the SAWP? The SAWP is the Seasonal Agricultural Worker Program. We're not talking about that, Michelle. We're talking about illegal border crossers, and I think that was pretty clear. Okay? Next, tell me how you'd fix this. And she links to a Globe and Mail article. So I'll go to the Globe and Mail article. Quote, "Ottawa allows seasonal exemption to temporary foreign worker rules." And I highlighted the top comment here. "The Liberal government has quietly approved changes aimed at helping Atlantic Canadian seafood processors that will allow them to bring in unlimited numbers of low-skilled temporary foreign workers to fill seasonal jobs this year." How do you fix that? I think you're distracting from the main question, which is there are illegal border crossers flooding into our country that we're now putting up in hotels, Michelle. And your response is we should match the number to skills and jobs we need. Huh? Like, are you seeing where people are getting frustrated, Michelle? Michelle Rempel, again, I'll wait for you to read it. Frank responds, one of three, but it gets kind of lost. So his response is worth it. And I'll link to all of it. It's hard to find. It took me a bit to find, but I'll try my best to link to all of this. I'm going to skip this because she doesn't respond to him here. So I'm not going to say this because he gets, like, she's just on a tweet storm and he responded to something further up. So it doesn't make sense for me to read this. So I'm not going to read it. Please come and have a perusal of this for yourself. Okay, so Michelle again, explain to me, O guru of immigration policy, why that is the less desirable version of the TFW, the Temporary Foreign Workers Program, as it stands, RN right now. Michelle again, I'm likely going to be super amused by your response, but I'm happy to give you a week to read the 2014 memorandum or moratorium changes imposed by Jason Kenney as a start. Michelle again, I sense through the force some fear and doubt on your end. And then it goes further and like that's one thread of a huge thread talking about this. So that you have to expand Michelle's 7 more, and then there's people here kind of talking back and forth. And in my opinion, last night I saw some more rude tweets, etc., from Michelle. But I think that is enough to give us a really good idea of, one, why are you using language? And I understand we're on Twitter, but these are short tweets. You're using short forms. Is it purposely to obfuscate what you're saying? I don't understand why you can't address the illegal border crossers and say clearly that you want to stop it, full stop. We have an immigration system. We had one prior to 2015, and it worked just fine. And the people who don't qualify were removed from Canada at an appropriate pace. And if that's not happening, then we need to get a task force to make it happen. Obfuscating things with the seasonal agricultural worker program and the temporary foreign workers rules, we're not talking about the same thing. Canadians are really concerned about having open borders. Trudeau has opened our borders, and you're using weasel words and lies and then temper tantrums on Twitter to silence people who are questioning you about it. Answer the question. It's really simple. How are you going to get rid of the illegal border crossers we're currently putting up in hotels, 90% of whom we all already know do not qualify for status in Canada? That's the question, Michelle. Why are you dodging it?